Okay, so you'll find the second SINGWIN activity within Module 9. This is going to be measures of central tendency and variation. So you can basically follow the same steps as in the first activity to begin your data analysis. And since for part A, you're going to need John A, and for part B, you're going to need John B, I would just recommend downloading them both right away at the same time. So we'll follow the same steps from D2L. You'll click download. John A. And I think it's easiest just to download John B right away. So I would download the both of them. And my preference, I think it's just easier to do it this way, but you can certainly just open up SINGWIN and open it right from your downloads folder. But I think sometimes it's easier just to move it to your desktop. And then you can even delete it when you're done with it. So in the downloads folder, I can see John A and John B. So it's up to you if you want to just leave it here. Otherwise, you can just drag it over to your desktop. And you can see it. I just moved it over to I can just look under my desktop, under my folder explorer, and I can see my .dbf files down here. So again, I'm going to show you the video clip from the previous semester just because all the steps are the same. And I hope you find the rest of the easy steps relatively easy and intuitive. Okay, so in this video we're going to discuss measures of central tendency. So if you remember from the lecture, this is mean, median, and range. So I'm going to start off with the same introduction that I've given in the other video about how to get the data file. So the quickest way to do this is just to copy and paste out the link here. So if you go back to this Panther file, and you can follow the link to Alberger Public, and for this one we'll want John A. So you can right click on it, save link as, and I'll just save it to the desktop. So John A. And remember, we can't just click on it, we have to open it through SINGWIN. So I've already got SINGWIN open, but I'm going to click File, Open File, and then remember to go to your drop down to the desktop and find John A, and there we have it. So this one, we've got our baseline and our intervention data entered already. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the graph. So if we click on Graphs, Line Chart, Baseline to Intervention, you can see that there's not really any trend here. It's really variable. There's no stability. So in this case, I would suggest that you would look to see if there were any type of outliers, and I don't really see any outliers here. It looks like there's a pretty predictable pattern. So if there's no outliers, you can report the mean. So our first question, upon visual inspection of these data, which measure of central tendency is most appropriate? So again, I would say mean. One nice thing about SINGWIN is that it'll actually print out a mean graph for you. So I'll close out this graph, and I can click Graphs, then go down to Central Tendency and click Mean, and it'll superimpose the mean line for me. So if I want this graph, again, you can just click Edit Graph, Copy Graph. You can simply insert it into a Word document. So there, we've got it saved. So now we want to figure out what our mean is and also some descriptive statistics. So I'm going to go back to SINGWIN. So I'll click Statistics, Descriptives, the fourth one down, look at baseline, and here we've got a report printed out for us of what our mean is. So you can see that the mean is 19.29, and our range is the difference between the maximum and the minimum value. So the maximum value is 25, minimum value is 15, so our range is 10. And we would just repeat the same thing for the intervention. So I can close this out, click Statistics, Descriptives, Intervention, and here our mean 17.14, and our range, the difference between the highest point of 10 and the lowest point of 5 is 5. So that would be your answers for this sheet. So you can fill that in. And that concludes everything for that worksheet. So simple enough. Alright, so part B. Okay, so part B asks us to do almost the same thing, but this time we're going to open up John B. Again, I'm going to have to open this through SINGWIN. I can't just click on it. So I'll click File, Open File, and then search my desktop for John B. And here it is. And there's our data. So the first step is just to look at the line graph. So I'm going to click Graphs, Line Chart, Baseline Intervention. And this one should be pretty obvious to you that there is an outlier here. So during the intervention phase, it looks like there's this huge spike here on day 11. So if you do see an outlier, you're going to want to report the median. So I'm going to pull out a median graph for this one. So I'm going to click Graphs, Central Tendency, and Median. And this is what our median graph looks like. So I'm going to copy this out, Edit Graphs, Copy Graph, and I'm going to pull up the Word document from the previous one and paste that into here. And this is what you can submit to the Dropbox. Okay, so after doing this, I'm going to do the same steps, but just look at the median this time. So I'll close this out and click Statistics, Descriptives, and look at the baseline descriptive statistics. So the median here is reported on the right side. You can see that the median is 20. But remember, when you're reporting the median, you're going to want to put the interquartile range, not the full range, because it's really influenced by the outliers. So the interquartile range for your baseline is on the bottom, where it says 75th percentile and 25th percentile. So you're going to want to subtract 15 from 25, because 25 is your highest and 15 is your lowest. So your interquartile range is 10. And I'll repeat this for the intervention phase. So I can go Statistics, Descriptives, Intervention, and voila. Our median is 5 for the intervention phase, and our interquartile range is the difference between 10 and 5. So our interquartile range is 5. And that sums up Part B of Central Tendency and Variation.